Hello friends and welcome back to another episode of Spilling Studio. My name is Sam and this week we have 7 new ARE practice questions designed to help you pass your next exam. 6 per exam topic and a bonus question at the end. Let's get into it. First up is practice management. A principal of a firm is reviewing financial reports for the office and discovers the chargeable ratio for technical staff is currently at 68%. What should the principal do to improve this percentage? Ask the project managers to produce a project progress report, increase the current ratio by 0.5, ask the project managers to track direct time more closely, increase the billing rate for each technical staff member. Feel free to pause here to answer. The answer is ask project managers to track time more closely. This question is asking about chargeable ratio, which is the time spent on direct labor divided by the total of all other time spent. So that's direct labor, indirect, vacation, holiday, and sick leave. Typically for the whole firm, a chargeable ratio of 65% is good. However, this question was asking specifically about technical staff, which should be at 75% minimum. In the question, the firm's technical staff was at 68%, which is a bit low. So to increase this number, direct labor would need to be increased, or time spent on indirect, vacation, and so on would need to decrease. The project manager should start tracking time spent more closely to make sure staff are spending time on the projects that they should be working on. Next up is project management. Which of the following are the 3 parts to specifications? General, codes, products, materials, execution. Pause here to answer. And the answer is general, products, and execution. General is like the introduction to a specification. It tells you what the section will include and other sections that this one is related to. Some materials may have pre-construction requirements which would be included in this section as well. This section also tells the contractor what submittals are to be submitted. And if your project is lead, this is where you would state what needs to be submitted for that as well. There are also sections for quality requirements, project conditions before installing, and the required warranties the material should have. The next section, products, is where the main meat is at. This tells you everything you could possibly want to know about the material. In this example, it's joint sealants. So we have what the material is compatible with, VOC limitations, standards the material must comply with, colors, composition and grade of the sealant, as well as a list of acceptable manufacturers. In some cases, you may list a specific sealant that you want to use, or you could just describe the type you want. This depends on the type of specification you're writing and what your client wants. And the final section is execution. You may be thinking, wait, I thought we weren't supposed to tell a contractor how to build it. Isn't that means and methods? Well, yes, you're right. We do not tell them how to go about doing the construction. However, if you look at the wording in this section, it tells what needs to be done, not how to do it, just like our drawings. So it says to protect adjacent surfaces, but it doesn't say how or with what. Then it says provide clean and dry joints. Same thing, no how or with what. Typically, the manufacturer will have accepted practices in place for these types of things, so it's not a complete free-for-all on how things get done. So this section covers examining the work area before the work starts, prepping the area, installation, cleaning, and finally protection of the work until all construction is complete. And depending on the type of material, there may be a finish schedule included at the end, like in this one. Now on to programming and analysis. A client wants to develop an 8-story office building with sustainability as their primary project goal. Which of the following would be the best stormwater management strategies to implement? Select 3 that apply. Catch basins, bioswales, infiltration basins, cisterns, or pervious paving. Pause to answer. And the correct answer is bioswales, infiltration basins, and pervious paving. All three of these are sustainable methods of controlling stormwater runoff. Catch basins and cisterns take stormwater to the storm sewer system or somewhere off-site. Bioswales are shallow grass-lined ditches that may have plants growing along the sides or even in the middle. The depression in the ground catches the water and removes contaminants through filtration. Then the water seeps into the ground. Infiltration basins are very similar, just much larger in scale. You may have seen these around your neighborhood if you live in a suburban area. Pervious paving is made up of a porous material that allows stormwater to seep through down to the soil below. This could be with paving stones, gravel, porous asphalt, or many other materials. Moving on to our next exam, project planning, and our question is, below is a section through an open office. What should the spacing of the diffusers be? 5 feet, 10 feet, 10 feet, and 10 feet, 3 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet, and 6 feet, 2 feet, 6 inches, 5 feet, 5 feet, 5 feet, or 4 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet, then 12 feet. Pause here to answer. And the correct answer is the first one, 5 feet and then all 10 feet. A general rule of thumb is to space ceiling diffusers the same distance as the height of the room, so in this case 10 feet. At the edges of the room, this is reduced by about half of the height in the room, so in this scenario that would be 5 feet. Depending on the size of your room, it may not perfectly align this way, but this is a general guideline for space planning. A brief pause here to remind you that I post new questions every week, so please hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss out on a video. It also really helps me out, so thank you. Now on to project development. Which of the following are used to prevent water from seeping back into the wall by capillary action in masonry construction? Weep holes, flashing, drip edge, or scupper? Pause to answer. And the answer is weep holes. Flashing, drip edges, and scuppers are used to prevent water from entering the wall construction, but weep holes are used to get water out of the wall if water has somehow gotten in the wall. Without weep holes, water could become trapped, leading to mold, mildew, or deterioration of the masonry wall. Weep holes also help prevent efflorescence since it allows the water to get out before it evaporates and leaves salt deposits behind. Weep holes are placed at the lowest course of the wall and above openings, so doors and windows. Next up is construction evaluation. Drawings for a new 5-story office building have been completed and are out for bid. Who is responsible for awarding the construction contract? The AHJ, the architect, the owner, or the owner's legal team? Pause here to answer. And the answer is owner. It is the owner's project and their money, so they're the one who's going to execute the contract. They are ultimately responsible for selecting and hiring the contractor. This is passively noted in AIA document B101, where it mentions the owner will execute the contract for construction. The architect is there to help with decision making and providing advice, but it is ultimately the owner's decision. And last but not least, our bonus question is, see the office floor plan below. What hand is door to? Right hand reverse, left hand reverse, or left hand? Pause to answer. And the correct answer is left hand. This used to confuse me so much when I was studying, but the way to figure this out is to keep two things in mind. So you're always crossing your arm to reach the handle, and it's based on the way you enter the room, not exit. And actually there's a third. If you're pulling the door towards you, then it's reverse. If you're pushing it away, then it's just the normal hand. So for a left hand door, you cross your left hand over your body and you're pushing the door away from you. That's our questions for this week. Remember to go check out the description for links to some of the AIA contracts covered in this video. I've also linked some of my favorite study books, so go check those out. Let me know in the comments what subject areas you're struggling with, and I'll do my best to cover it in the next video. Thank you all for joining. Please subscribe, and good luck on your next exam. You got this.